Hello friends, my name is Hamid. Today I'm working on this KitchenAid built-in fridge. The customer's complaint is that the fridge and freezer is warm, it's not working, it's not cooling anything inside of the unit. So today I will show you how to go through diagnostic or how to go through some testing of the components here and find what's causing this issue. Anytime your fridge is not working, the first thing you want to do is turn off the unit completely for 24 hours. Turn it back on and keep on it and see how it goes. Once in a while, if you get power surge or there's a glitch in the power, you can always unplug it for a couple of minutes, plug it back in and see if it works. If it's not working after unplugging it for a couple hours, you need to call for service. And today I will show you what needs to be done to fix this fridge. So first I'm going to show you the model and serial number on this unit. When you open the refrigerator door, the model and serial number is right there in that corner, and this unit is from 2004. We have to take that grill off. On these units, the compressor, the condenser coils, fan, everything is located up top. In order to remove this, we want to hold it from the bottom, lift it up. You may want to use two hands on this. You hold it from both sides, lift it, and then it lifts up. So if you look on this corner, you see these hooks, they kind of sit there as two screws. You see these two screws here, these bolts, they're kind of hooked like this and they sit like that. So when you lift it up, you pull it out. When the fridge cooling system is not working, we have to get to the bottom of the problem to see why it's not cooling. Now we are going to check our compressor to see if the compressor is running or not. On these units, the compressor is located on the left hand side on top corner. In order to get to the compressor, we have to remove 8 1/4-inch screws. You see these screws? There's 8 of them that they look like these, all around. Once you remove all your screws, this panel comes out. You can just lift it up and slide it up top. So once you get up here, the first thing you want to check is your condenser fan motor. Your condenser fan motor is running. As you can see, if the condenser fan motor is not running, the cooling system will also not work properly. So the good part is the condenser fan motor is running, which is good. And now we're going to put our hand on the compressor like that and feel the vibration. If you got vibration, then in that stage you want to call for service. You have to call a technician who would come and check your cooling system. He will check your gas and freon. But if the compressor is not running, there's no vibration, and your fridge is also in on position, everything seems okay, and at the same time the condenser fan motor is running, that means we're gonna have to check our inverter board. On these units, they use inverter board. They do not use they do not use capacitor, PTC relay, starter, or anything. So the starter, PTC, capacitor, everything is built in one inverter board, and then it inverts the power. It changes it to DC from AC, and it sends power from 53 volts up to 230 volts DC on this compressor. So this part is responsible for the compressor run. If the compressor is not running, you gotta check your power here. So I'm gonna go through a couple testings here, and I'll show you how to test this and what to do here. The first thing we wanna do is we wanna check this connector, the black and white connector that comes straight from the control board, goes into the inverter board. The inverter board gets its power from the control board through this connection, which is black and white. We are going to check for 120 volts AC. So here's my meter. I'm going to select AC, alternate current, AC, and we are going to look for 120 volts. I will hook it up here for now. You have your probes. you insert one of your probes on one side and the other one on another side, like this. Be very careful when you're doing this. Hold it like that, you can see. So you want to insert your meter probes like this inside and check for power. 120 volts AC. I am getting power from the control board, so this confirms it that my control board is okay on this unit. Now we're gonna check and confirm if the problem is with the inverter board or not. So since we are getting 120 volts going in, now we are gonna check this tiny connector, this black and red wire. We're supposed to get between 3 to 5 volts DC. So this time we are gonna select our meter to so it's AC. By pressing this, it becomes DC, direct current. So alternate current, direct current. And you can disconnect this if you want, or while it's connected you can check it. You have to insert your black probe to the black side, red to the red side. It doesn't matter, but I'm just giving you a good example. Always go from black to black. Okay, sorry, I'm holding the camera at the same time. So here it's black to black, red to red. It does not matter. You just want to put your probes on both sides of these small connector, and we are checking between 3 to 5 volts here. Hold it tight, do not move it a lot, and then get your reading. I got 3 volts, which is correct. If you're getting 120 on this wire and 3 volts on this one, that tells me that my inverter is bad. We don't know still if the compressor is bad too or not. It's not very common for the compressor to go bad, but very common problems are the inverter board on these units. And inverter board actually gets bad or defective on these units after 15-20 years. On these new units that they are built in 2024 and before, 5 years before that, inverter boards, they go bad after 3 to 5 years. But on these units, it's an old unit. It's a little bit older version of KitchenAid, and these units are built to last. They're good units. So at this moment, what I'm gonna do is I will turn off the power from here, and I'm gonna check my compressor to see if my compressor is good or bad. In order to check the compressor, you have to take the cover off, this cover. Usually on top of the compressor there is a tiny plastic piece that you have to insert your flat screwdriver like this and pry it up, and then this falls to the back, falls down, this cover, and then you can do your testing from there. So what you can do here is you have to again make sure, double check your power to make sure the power is off, and just to be on the safe side, disconnect both of these. So now you're not even getting any power. Even if the fridge is in on position, you will still not get any power to the compressor. Your safety is first. Disconnect your ground wire from the top here. You can use a needle nose plier to pull it out, or you can just use a screwdriver. Disconnect it, and then remember the position of this wire, the way it goes, because you do not want to reinstall it back in a wrong position and cause more problem and damage the compressor. You can hold it with your thumb from the bottom like that and kind of wiggle it and pull it out. To check the compressor, we are gonna check each of those pins for continuity to ground. So this time your multimeter, you're gonna select it to continuity with the beep. And your probes, you wanna touch your probes on the ground or together somewhere. You wanna make sure you get beep noise. That also confirms you that your meter is working, your probes are good, and they're not disconnected from the bottom. Sometimes if your probes are not setting properly from this area or from the bottom of the meter, it will give you a false reading, and then you will have a bad diagnostic or checkup. So now we are gonna get one of our probes and stick it somewhere that's part of our ground. Anywhere this piece of steel or this ground, everything is ground here, so you can just select anywhere, insert it right like that. Okay, I'll actually select right here so it won't come out easily. One of your probes are gonna stay like that. Again, double check this. I got continuity, that's good. Now we are gonna check the compressor pins. Those are the compressor pins right there. 1, 2, 3. We wanna check each of those one by one. Like that, see, touch it. No noise, which is good. No noise, it's good. No noise, it's good. So that tells me that the compressor is not grounded. If it's grounded, then we will also have a bad compressor. Something really wrong happens in the house, like power surge or something bad happens that damages the compressor. These compressors are not very common to go bad. The inverter usually goes bad or burns before the compressor. So for my safety, I always check the compressor too. If you're touching these pins and it gives you this kind of beep, that tells you that the compressor is bad. But right now, I confirm that the compressor is good. We're gonna have to replace this inverter board, and this will take care of the problem. This is the inverter board part number. When you receive the new inverter board, it's not gonna look exact same. You're gonna have to do a little bit of wires modification here, or it comes with couple connectors. You have to follow that. When you receive your inverter board, it's gonna look like this. It's a little bit cheap built compared to the original one. Look at these. It comes with couple wire connectors. We're gonna add this one on the inverter board. See these holes? You attach it like this. Make sure it makes that click noise, so that way this sits in place properly. And then we got this tiny connector. It does not matter which side you add there. Both sides are the same. You add it there. You hear that click noise, it's good. And now we got this ground wire. This side, you wanna add it right here. It even gives you that little tiny sign of ground there. Our inverter board is ready now. You need a small ratchet like this or a screwdriver to remove the old inverter board. To remove the old inverter board, you have to unscrew it from the front. You see these screws, 1/4-inch screw. If you have a regular screwdriver, I don't think you can do it easily. You need something really thin, a 1/4-inch screw. Insert it here and open it. I really have to use 2 hands because it's almost impossible. You can see how tight this 1/4-inch screw is inside. So if I use 1 hand, I don't know if I can do this. I'll try my best. If not, then I'm gonna put my camera down and do this. So I was able to remove this screw. You have to put a lot of pressure on your ratchet and then turn it at the same time. And now the corner is gonna be also a tricky one. Be careful, the edges are very sharp. It may cut your hand easily. So put one of your finger on top here and then keep turning it. There's also a ground wire. We're gonna remove that. This is the bad inverter board. You can actually see the discoloration on it. You see the the dark area. If you look at the inverter board even like that without doing any kind of testing on it and the compressor is not running, I would say 90% of the time it's your inverter board. You see this tiny bracket, it holds the inverter from the front. And here's the new inverter board. This plastic tab, you can see it gets inserted over there where the screw is. You kind of hold it like this. Look at it from the front. You see the way it goes, just like that, just like that. Line up your screws, line up the screw holes like this, and then now you can add your screws back in. This is the 1/4 inch drill bit with the magnet on, because to add the other screw back in is going to be super hard, so you want something magnetic. Do not over tight it, otherwise you're gonna break the plastic. Hold your inverter board after the installation and wiggle it a little bit. See, there's no movement. It moves a little bit, but that's completely normal. Now the next part you're gonna do is you have to install your main connector. You see these 3 wires? They go straight right there. You kind of hold it in down position, line up the holes. The bottom one, top. And push it back in. See, you want a tight fit. You do not want to leave it loose. If you leave those pins loose, it's gonna burn the compressor. So be very careful. Press it with your thumb. Make sure it's flush to the bottom where it sits. Add your ground back in. Ground is good. Your cover back in. That's good. Now you're gonna reinstall your main wires for 120 volts. This DC voltage wire. See the way it sits? Flush to the other tiny plastic. You want it like that. And the same thing here. See the way it sits flushed? You can always press it hard with your hand. And then you add your ground. The customer is super nice. He was the one who went and picked up the part for me from the part suppliers we are dealing with. He said, if you're busy, I'll just go grab the part and you come back. So at the same day, I had to go through some diagnostic here today, and he picked up the part, sent me a text message saying that he got the part, and I came back and I'm working on it now. Okay, just to let you know that there's also an extra wire here. Do not get confused by this. It's just for future updates, in case if they want to add something on these units, they may use this, so don't get confused. And now, before we do anything else, we want to make sure that the compressor is running. So I'm gonna turn on the power. Double check your wires before you turn on the power. This, especially these 2 wires and ground. Everything seems okay. Let's start it. Turn it on. You hear that noise? The compressor just started. The condenser fan motor and compressor starts at the same time. It goes in different variable speeds, and you can hear it. I hope you can hear this noise. And you can also put your hand on the compressor and feel the vibration if you're not sure if it's running or not. It's running at this moment. This wire, you want it to be like that, not outside. You can always use a zip tie here if you want, but it seems okay. It should be on other side of the panel. This plastic piece is broken from the top of the compressor plastic, which is fine. Since the compressor is running, I'm gonna put this cover back in. So don't get confused with this panel. It only goes one way. You see this opening right here, this cut goes on top of this. And at the same time, this lines up with this power switch. All of these extra wires, you can see, you can always push it back just to make sure it doesn't come in touch with the control board wire or with this panel. You can add your first screw with your hand just to hold this panel in place for you, and then the rest you can just use your screwdriver or drill. I love it when I see condenser coils being clean like this. It looks like brand new. Remember the way it goes, it sits on top of those screws. When you reinstall your grill back in, you want to make sure it's flushed here. It's also flushed from this side. If it's not flushed, that means it may fall down, which is risky, or it may not look nice. And also you want it a little bit flush to the rest of the cabinets. See the way it looks? It's a little bit out from the fridge door, but that's completely fine. The main cause of the inverter board that goes bad or burns on these units are your condenser coils. The condenser coils are located up top on the right hand side. You need to clean them every 1 or 2 years. If you do not clean them properly, just by vacuuming it is not a proper way to clean it. You have to use air compressor or leaf blower to blow all the dust out. You do not have to use air compressor or leaf blower every 1 or 2 years. You can vacuum it normally every 1 or 2 years, and then every 5 years I recommend you using air compressor or leaf blower to blow all the dust out. If you don't do that, what happens, it overheats the whole area, and that overheating can cause your condenser fan motor to seize or die or not work properly. It causes the cooling system to not work properly. It will kill your inverter board. It can possibly, worst case, damage your compressor, which is going to cause your normal electric repair. There's also something else that you want to keep eye on. If you don't have the habit of cleaning your condenser coils, when you open your fridge door or freezer door, if you see this opening right here, this opening will usually get hot, and that also tells you that your condenser coils needs to be clean and they are not clean. I'll show you something here. You see this crack and discoloration that starts from here, goes all the way down. This is also caused because of the overheating issue. If your fridge is overheating, why? Because your condenser coils up top is not very clean. You need to clean those. If you don't clean them on time, it always overheats this area, and then you're gonna have this kind of discoloration. Once you get this discoloration and crack, there's no way you can fix this. You're gonna live with this for the rest of its life, and then it can possibly get worse over time. They got only one crack right now. There's a couple tiny cracks, but if the condenser coils stays uncleaned, this can get worse over time. At this moment, the condenser coils are really good and clean. It looks like brand new. I just replaced the inverter board, and hopefully this will take care of the problem, because when the compressor runs, we are expecting the fridge and freezer to get cold. But in some cases, because of the condenser coils, oil gets inside of the capillary tube where there is a dryer filter. It also plugs that, which is called restriction on the cooling system. And if that's the case, then we're gonna have to come back here with the refrigeration equipment, cut the dryer filter, clean it, use nitrogen, blow all the oil and everything out from the restricted capillary tube, and we have to vacuum it, recharge it back again, and that will also fix this issue. But at this moment, let's hope that everything works and the customer would not call me back. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and share it with others. You can also follow me on Facebook. It's called Hamid Appliances Repair. Thank you.